Hi, today I want to tell you a little bit about AUVSI's Trusted Operator Program. My name's Tracy Lamb. I'm the Vice President of Regulatory and Safety Affairs and the Chief Pilot of the Remote Pilot Council. Today we're going to learn a little bit about what the Trusted Operator Program is, what it hopes to achieve and how it's going to achieve it. So sit back and relax and enjoy the presentation. If you don't know about AUVSI, AUVSI was formed in 1972 and it's the world's largest non-for-profit organisation in the drone industry. We cover over 60 countries, we have over 600 corporate members and 7,500 individual members. And what do? We educate, we advocate and we support the advancement of the robotics community. So you might be asking yourself, what is the Remote Pilots Council and why was it formed and what does it do? The Remote Pilots Council was formed in early 2017 to support, like manned pilots have their associations, the remote pilot industry. Now AUVSI formed the Remote Pilots Council and then went on a national listening tour to find out what it is our members wanted, what it was our members need, and how we can make the unmanned aircraft systems industry a better place for them to actually prosper and move forward. One of the things that came out of this listening tour was a common theme. We want the industry to have credibility. We want the industry to have that trust in drone-enabled services. And more than anything, we want the industry to be safe and prosperous for all. So we analysed some of those, how did we get that information out of the listening tour? And we had written feedback from not only surveys, but also interviews with our members around the United States. The key words that came out of this were reliability, safety and risk management strategies and support, professionalism, and our members demand and want to achieve the same level of professional and safety culture that exists in the aviation world today. They also said they want to generate trust. There are lots and lots of references and keywords that referred to standards and training and education, job creation. Accountability was a very big theme that came out of our research. Accreditation, certification and efficiency. So the Remote Pilot Council really did gather a lot of these keywords and they come back to gaps, many gaps in training, gaps in becoming a remote pilot. And one of the reasons is because becoming a basic remote pilot, a Part 107, the barrier to actually achieving that, although it seems like a lot of work at the time, compared to some other professions is actually quite low. And that coupled with the fact that it's a booming industry. It's a very exciting industry to be in. It can be a very lucrative industry to be in if you do it well. And our economic report points out just how much that market is going to be worth over the next 10 years. And we're talking $82.1 billion. That's a huge market potential. So with lots of people getting into the unmanned aircraft systems market, a lot of people are becoming remote pilots because hey, it's completely fun. I absolutely love it. I've worked all around the world as a remote pilot and it's a fantastic career. But it needs to be done properly and with the right ethos, just like a professional pilot. So that takes us to the remote pilot market. Now, don't be offended, it is a little bit like the hamburger market at the moment. What are customers really buying when they buy the services of a remote pilot? Are they getting a hamburger that looks like that? Or are they getting a hamburger that looks like that? And what does it taste like? Now you might like this comparison, but unfortunately it is pretty accurate. what are our customers, the end users of drone-enabled services, getting when they hire a remote pilot? At the moment, there is no unified standard to say that pilot has a level of competency that can be expected. The end user expects it, but that has not actually been tested during the training of the remote pilot, because there's a lot more than just being legally compliant. There's a lot more than just ticking regulatory boxes. It all stems from safety behaviours, professionalism, risk management, airmanship, things that you don't necessarily have to prove that you've been trained in or that you're competent in. So, as an end user of drone-enabled services, if I go to a gas station, I will expect a gas station hamburger. If I go to the Ritz-Carlton, I'm going to want a gourmet burger. How do our customers know what they're getting? So at AUVSI, due to the demand and the guidance from all of our members and other industry stakeholders, have decided that we need to get some basic ingredients for our hamburger, for our remote pilot, and that comes down to training and gaps in training and accepted industry norm for behaviours and practices like best practice and codes of conduct that are not written down on a legal checklist. So we've got lettuce. A hamburger should have lettuce, cheese, meat and a bun. That equates to safety, reliability, professionalism and trust. Now, if we can bake hamburgers that know that they're going to have those key ingredients, if they're a top operator, then we're actually ready to have a picnic. But saying that you come out of a program and you're a trusted operator really means different things depending on the different operational environment that the drone-enabled services are operating in. For example, there's quite a big difference between wedding photography from drone-enabled services, between that and offshore operations on hot stacks and industrial installations. They're also very different to the types of safety and risk considerations that are in the power line survey environment, the film and television filming environment, etc., etc. I think you get the picture. So what the Trusted Operator Program is doing is actually analysing all of the different ConOps or concepts of operations, all the different applications out there, and tailoring the level of safety and safety behaviours change depending on what type of operation that you're in. And that's where our members from all around the industry have come in to really support the Trusted Operator Program. So Level 1 certification might mean that you're operating in an open field doing agricultural surveys with a light aircraft, say like a SenseFly EB or a similar piece of equipment like that. Level 2 certification means that the safety protocols are quite different, risk management are quite different, and that might be that you're actually operating on a mine site or another industrial installation doing basic photographic surveys, probably with the survey operation staff around, so not out in the general public. Certification Level 3 is the highest level of safety protocols and safety strategies employed, the highest level of training, the highest level of proven competency required. And that could be your power line surveys, your telecom tower surveys, wind farm surveys, operations over people beyond visual line of sight, etc., etc. So a little bit more complex operations. So one size does not fit all when it comes to looking at safety defences in operating unmanned aircraft systems. And this is probably a slide where we could spend a couple of days on, but I'm going to go through it fairly quickly for you. We talked about the different types of ConOps that different operators are working in attach itself to different levels of risk, different levels of safety mitigations required. So we have broken those down into 3 simple categories of low, medium and high. And those can be manipulated depending on different factors. And obviously, are you operating in a low-risk environment, but perhaps over other people working in a field, etc., or around high-value equipment or machinery, or indeed animals and livestock as well. So there are lots of different things to consider. The other way risk mitigation or risk strategies work in the unmanned aircraft system, and indeed other components in aviation also, is by the weight, the speed or the kinetic energy of the actual drone. And that's why you see these colourful boxes on the side here. So this very much coincides with the mass or the energy, potential energy of the drone according to its weight. So you have a look here, we've got green is small drones, in fact 0 to 5 pounds. Medium risk drones are 5 to 15 pounds. Heavier, high risk drones is 15 to 54 pounds. And then we have 55 pounds and up, which is in the red. So you can see a visual gradient there. So let's say, for example, you're operating in a low risk environment over agricultural land, unpopulated, using a very light drone, which is probably under 5 pounds or even under 15 pounds, you'd probably stay in the low risk category. So that way you're taking into consideration the ConOps, type of operation, and the weight and speed and mass of the drone. When you have those two combinations working together, you have a more accurate assessment of your risk, which means a more accurate assessment of the precautions that you need to put in place to operate safely. Not only operate safely, but ensure that as a drone operator, you have done your due diligence, you have done your risk management, you have taken care of your duty of care to your client and the people around your operation, including your own staff if you have them. So there's more to this than just doing a risk assessment. This is actually ensuring your responsibility against unexpected risk and harm. So let's say, for example, same scenario, you're going to operate in that field, not many people around, but you decide to use a heavier drone. Let's say, for example, you decide to use a 15 to 54 pound drone. Well, that automatically takes you into a higher risk mass energy band in our risk matrix. So it is advisable that you then go up a level or two in your risk management protocols, and therefore fulfilling your duty as a professional operator to cover off on your duty of care, your responsibility and your professionalism. By doing that, you encourage trust to build between you and your clients, and also further trust for our fantastic drone-enabled industry. And that brings us to the key elements of the trust program. You want to be reliable. You want our drone industry to have a great name. We want the general public and the end users to know that getting drone footage and data collected by drones and using remote pilots is actually safe, efficient and reliable, and they're going to get what they pay for back to our gas station hamburger or our Ritz-Carlton hamburger. So reliability is a key element. Safety is by far probably one of the most enabling factors. If you can prove and demonstrate safety in your operation, this is going to have multiple benefits for you in the future. Your insurance premiums will be more affordable and efficient. Your ability to gain waivers, your ability to get the trust, your ability to operate safely and develop that reputation in the industry is far increased if you have proven, visible, tangible safety and risk management strategies that work. Professionalism. Professionalism is such an all-encompassing word. In aviation, professionalism is bound into a term called airmanship. And for those of you who are Part 61 operators, or you have an airline transport pilot's license, you'll know a lot about what it means to demonstrate airmanship. Airmanship is all about operating professionally, not only just looking good and showing up and having a brilliant website and a fancy car and some great equipment. Professionalism is all about how you conduct your operations from inside your brain and your physical safety behaviours. And that professionalism and airmanship is not something you just wake up one morning and you have it. They're learned behaviours. They're learned behaviours and learned discipline. Discipline in keeping yourself practiced, keeping yourself up to date with what's happening, reading the NOTAMs, reading the weather, reading anything that you can get your hands on, using the applications you have to their full potential so that you operate safely, and having the discipline to actually say on a job site, no, I can't start yet, I've got to finish this. Carrying radios, talking to air traffic control, really firming up your whole operation so that it is professional from inside your head and the way you behave as a safety professional right through to your end product that you deliver to the customer. So professionalism cannot be spoken about enough. And if you have all of those ingredients, you're going to go a long way to generating what we need in the industry more than ever, and that is trust. Trust in drone-enabled services. Public perception is very important. At the moment, public perception of drones is gaining some positive ground because of the ability that drones have to find missing people, search and rescue, and help out in times of natural disasters. And unfortunately, it only takes one or two incidences for all that good to be unravelled. So we need consistency. We need to build that trust in the drone industry consistently. Another point I want to make here is that if you demonstrate that level of trust and that level of professionalism, that makes it a lot easier for organisations like AUVSI to go through and say, hey, look, this is what our operators are doing. This is what our drone industry can achieve. So let's recap on Rising to the Top and what this means for you. So the TOP program, the Trusted Operator Program, is drawing off the incredible talent, wisdom and experience of the industry. We have training organisations, universities, fantastic certification bodies, individual operators, law enforcement and public safety operators come together for the Trusted Operator Program to actually build a whole set of unified, aggregated guidelines and protocols for best practice, airmanship, codes of conduct and safety behaviours. And that's what the TOP is all about. This is going to have other benefits from you, like lower insurance premiums and AUVSI's increased ability to be able to advocate on behalf of a responsible community. But this won't happen by magic, and we can't just build this terrific program and then forget about it. It doesn't work like that. The program cycle is actually 24 months. Coincidentally, so is your remote pilot's license. So every 24 months, AUVSI and our steering committee and our brand ambassadors for the TOP program come together and make sure that the guidelines and the document that we produce is actually up to date, it's current, it's relevant, it's practical, and it's going to serve our community. Those guidelines and protocols are then independently looked at by the team, and certification bodies come together and will certify the training schools that they're training to those guidelines. Then the remote pilots that received that training received TOP operator certification, depending on the level of operations that they're wanting to do. So it is a good cycle of looking at the standards and protocols, gaining recognition from the community that this is what the community wants, getting trusted accredited certification bodies to vet those standards and protocols, putting it out and letting the pilots and the organisation operate to those standards, and then back to industry collaboration. So it's a cycle of maintaining a community-driven set of standards that are going to help you as an operator be the best you can be. So I ask you to be engaged, learn about TOP, get involved in our process, join a steering committee. We have leads in the steering committee. Steering committee started in November. And brand ambassadors. Brand ambassadors are only appointed if they have proven to be the best in their field and work by the ethos that we've spoken about today. So there is a link that you'll find on this presentation. You can click on it to learn more. You can click on it if you're interested in joining our steering committee or being one of our brand ambassadors, and I urge you to be engaged. At Exponential 2018 in Denver, Colorado, we're going to celebrate the TOP program, and we're going to celebrate the original steering committee and brand ambassadors that first got together to make this program what it is. So if you come to Denver in 2018, you will see not only our recognition awards for the TOP program, but also our Excellence Awards, which is the first time AUVSI is giving awards. We're giving 23 awards out in 4 different categories: technology innovation, training, certification, and education. So that's going to be a fantastic award tied in most likely to top operators. Humanitarian awards and Operation Safety Awards. And of course, after all of that, our top recognition awards to say thank you to our top steering committee and the brand ambassadors. So I urge you to come to Exponential, and I certainly look forward to seeing you there. So during this presentation, you've learned a lot about the Trusted Operator Program, TOP certification, risk management, touching on safety behaviours and airmanship. But what if you only want to fly for fun? Do you think those things are still important? Yes, of course they are. You might not need to go and get TOP certification for when you fly your drone, but it's a good practice to start getting into that mindset of safety and safety behaviours. And that is a good place to start by looking at the Know Before You Fly campaign. You can click onto the link on the AUVSI website, Know Before You Fly, and that will take you through some great principles for operating your drone responsibly and safely. All I can say there is thank you very much for your attention today. I urge you to rise to the top and become a trusted operator, and join us in making the unmanned systems industry one that can really advance for the future. Thank you.